Some women will build you, some will break you. The tragedy is that most men don't realize which one they've chosen until it's already too late. Marriage doesn't magically change a woman, it only magnifies who she already is. If she's supportive, marriage will lift you higher. If she's selfish, marriage will drag you down faster than you can imagine. Here's the good news. The truth always shows early, and once you know what to look for, you'll never mistake temporary attraction for a lifelong partnership. In this series, I'm going to expose 10 powerful signs that reveal whether your girl is truly wifey material or a danger disguised as love. This channel isn't just entertainment. Female Code Unlocked is a community of men who refuse to walk blind into the biggest decision of their lives. So hit subscribe, tap that like button, and tell me in the comments if you've ever wondered whether the woman you're with would still stand by you if everything collapsed tomorrow. Think about that as we move forward, because the very first sign I'm about to reveal will test exactly that. Sign number 1. She stands by you through highs and lows. A woman who only appears when you're successful, smiling when your wallet is full and the spotlight is on you, is not a wife. She is a visitor, passing through for the benefits of the good times. The real test of loyalty doesn't happen when you're at the top of your game. It happens when you stumble. It happens when the crowd disappears, when the laughter fades, and when you have nothing to offer except your raw, unpolished self. That is when her character reveals itself. Psychologically, people are drawn to pleasure and status. Many women will happily stay close when you're shining because being attached to you raises their own image. But when hardship arrives, when money is tight, when failure hits, those same women vanish. Why? Because they were never invested in you. They were invested in the lifestyle you provided. A woman who is truly wifey material will not flinch when life turns dark. She will sit with you in silence when words can't fix the pain. She will remind you of your worth when the world tells you you're nothing. She will prove she's not here for the party. You are her reason to stay. If she disappears the moment you fall, she was never yours. She was only renting space in your life, waiting for the rent to go up. A wife stays, a passerby leaves. Learn to tell the difference before it costs you everything. Sign number 2, you still find her attractive. When she's unpolished. Real attraction is revealed when the filters are gone, the makeup is off, and there's no effort to impress. Social media has trained men to fall for illusions, angles, filters, artificial beauty that vanishes the moment reality steps in. But marriage isn't about how good she looks on Instagram. Marriage is waking up to the same face every morning, seeing her in her raw state, and still feeling that pull toward her. That's when you know the connection is deeper than cosmetics. Many men confuse desire with attachment to an image. When the reality doesn't match the fantasy, frustration sets in. This is why so many relationships collapse after the honeymoon phase. They weren't built on genuine attraction. They were built on performance. When she can roll out of bed with messy hair, tired eyes, and no makeup, and you still feel proud to have her by your side, that's when you found something solid. The danger comes when your attraction depends entirely on how she presents herself. If you only feel drawn to her when she's dressed up, then you're not in love with her. You're in love with her disguise, and a disguise cannot last a lifetime. Looks fade, skin changes, beauty evolves. But if you can see her unfiltered and still feel desire, you're not just chasing an image, you're building a foundation. That's the difference between a fling and a future. Sign number 3, she can stand on her own. A woman who depends on you for every ounce of stability is not a partner. She's a liability. Independence isn't about rejecting a relationship. It's about proving she can hold her ground even if the world collapses around her. When a woman shows emotional strength, she doesn't crumble every time life gets heavy. When she shows financial strength, she isn't looking at you as a permanent ATM. Together, those qualities form a foundation you can actually build on. Psychologically, dependency creates imbalance. The more one partner needs, the more control the other partner loses. A woman who cannot support herself will always pressure you to carry the weight alone. And when you carry it all, you don't have a wife. You have a dependent. That imbalance destroys respect. Because respect can't grow when one person is always the provider and the other is always the receiver. The truth is simple. A woman who can pay her bills, make her decisions, and handle her emotions without collapsing is the kind of woman who enters a marriage as an equal. She doesn't drain you, she strengthens you. She becomes a partner who can step in when life throws you down, not someone who drags you deeper. If she cannot stand on her own, you'll spend your life carrying her while she quietly holds all the power. She won't love you for who you are. She'll need you for what you give. And the day you stop giving, the relationship will stop breathing. Sign number 4. She pushes you to become the best version of yourself. A true partner doesn't just admire who you are today. She challenges you to grow into the man you could be tomorrow. Encouragement is easy to fake when times are smooth. But genuine support shows up when you're questioning yourself, when your ambition feels impossible, when quitting seems like the only option. A woman who believes in your potential will not let you settle for mediocrity. She will remind you of your goals, hold you accountable, and celebrate the progress you make along the way. Psychologically, men thrive when they have a purpose and someone who reinforces that purpose. A supportive partner becomes an amplifier of your drive. Instead of distracting you with drama or tearing you down with criticism, she builds you up. This doesn't mean she flatters your ego. It means she sees your weaknesses and still calls you forward into strength. That type of influence is rare and priceless. But here's the danger. A woman who mocks your ambitions, dismisses your dreams, or constantly plants seeds of doubt will slowly break you down. Instead of being your teammate, she becomes your competitor, draining your energy and pulling you off your path. And once you lose your sense of purpose, you lose the very core of what makes you a man. The right woman will be your greatest ally, not your heaviest chain. If she pushes you toward excellence, you found someone worth building a life with. If she holds you back, no amount of love can make up for the weight of her resistance. Number 5. She lets you be vulnerable without punishing your honesty. Society teaches men to carry pain in silence, to grit their teeth and never bend. But strength isn't measured by how well you bury your emotions. It's measured by how you face them. A woman who is truly wifey material understands this. She doesn't expect you to be a superhero 24/7. She sees the human behind the armor, and she doesn't shame you for having cracks. Psychologically, when a man is forced to hide his weaknesses, he becomes emotionally disconnected. That disconnection destroys intimacy because intimacy requires honesty. If she can hold space for you to be real, to admit fear, to show sadness, to express doubt, then she is giving you the freedom to be fully yourself. And that freedom is what keeps a relationship alive. But if she mocks you when you stumble, if she rolls her eyes when you admit your struggles, or if she weaponizes your vulnerability in arguments, understand this: she doesn't love you. She leverages you. A woman who turns your weakest moments into ammunition will destroy you from the inside out. A wife doesn't demand invincibility. She respects your humanity. She knows that even the strongest men bleed. And she doesn't see that as failure. She sees it as trust. The wrong woman will punish you for being human. The right woman will stand closer when you let the mask slip. That difference will determine whether you feel safe in your own home or trapped in a performance. Sign number 6. She makes the effort to connect with your family. Marriage doesn't just bind two people, it binds two families. Whether you like it or not, your family is part of the equation. A woman who genuinely wants a future with you will not avoid that reality. She'll show respect to your parents, take the time to understand your siblings, and make an effort to fit in, even if it doesn't come naturally. That willingness signals maturity and commitment. From a psychological standpoint, humans are tribal. We seek acceptance from the groups that shaped us. When your partner integrates with your family, it reassures you that your two worlds can coexist. It eliminates the silent tension of living a double life. One with her, one with them. Instead, it builds harmony and stability. But when a woman resists your family, criticizes them openly, or tries to isolate you from them, understand the danger. That is not independence, it's division. She may argue that it's just the two of us, but in reality she's cutting you off from a support system that has been with you far longer than she has. And once she succeeds in separating you, She holds more control because you have nowhere else to lean. A wife doesn't have to adore every member of your family, but she respects them because they're part of you. If she can coexist peacefully, you gain an ally. If she wages war, you inherit a lifelong conflict. The choice is clear. Build with someone who brings people together, not someone who tears them apart. 7. Compromise feels natural, not forced. Compromise isn't about giving up your identity. It's about choosing the relationship over small battles because the bond matters more than the ego. When you adjust certain habits, shift priorities, or make sacrifices willingly, it shows that the connection has real value. A woman who is worthy of marriage will inspire those compromises naturally. You don't feel forced, you feel invested. From a psychological perspective, mutual compromise strengthens attachment. Both partners feel valued, respected, and understood. It creates balance. Each side bends at times, knowing the other will bend too. That reciprocity builds trust because you know neither of you is carrying the weight alone. The danger is when compromise becomes one-sided. If you're always the one changing while she refuses to adjust, you're not in a relationship. You're in servitude. She's not meeting you halfway. She's training you to obey. Over time, resentment grows. You lose your sense of self, and she loses respect for you because respect cannot survive when one person always submits. A true wife doesn't demand blind sacrifice. She meets you in the middle. She understands that love is not control. It's collaboration. If you find yourself compromising joyfully because she does the same, you're building a future. But if you find yourself bending until you break while she never lifts a finger, understand this. You're not loved, you're managed. And that is not a marriage worth walking into. Sign number 8. She cares about what matters to you. A relationship isn't built on one person's world. It's built when both partners step into each other's lives with genuine interest. A woman who sees what you value and makes the effort to understand it, even if it's not her passion, shows you something powerful: respect. She doesn't have to love football, business, or the hobbies that drive you. But if she listens, learns, and asks questions because she knows they matter to you, that's commitment. Psychologically, shared attention is a sign of emotional investment. When she cares about what you care about, she's telling you that your happiness is tied to hers. That doesn't mean she needs to adopt all your interests. It means she respects your individuality enough to acknowledge it. That acknowledgement is what keeps men from feeling invisible in their own relationships. The danger comes when she dismisses your passions or belittles what excites you. If she mocks your hobbies, rolls her eyes at your goals, or demands all the focus stay on her, the balance is gone. Over time, you'll stop sharing. You'll stop opening up. And when a man no longer feels safe to share his world, he starts building walls. Those walls don't just protect him. They shut her out. A wife doesn't need to love what you love. But she should respect what you love because it's part of you. If she invests in your world, you'll gladly invest in hers. If she refuses, the relationship will shrink into selfishness. And selfishness kills connection faster than time ever could. Sign number 9. You share the same core values. Attraction can spark a relationship, but shared values sustain it. Core values, your views on family, money, loyalty, integrity, even faith, are the blueprint for how you will live your life together. If those blueprints clash, the house you try to build will eventually collapse. A woman who shares your values doesn't just agree with you in conversation. She aligns with the foundation of who you are. Psychologically, values dictate behavior. When two people live by different codes, conflict is inevitable. One believes in saving, the other spends recklessly. One dreams of children, the other refuses the idea. One treats commitment as sacred, the other treats it as optional. These aren't small disagreements. They're ticking time bombs. Over time, unresolved differences in values turn into resentment, bitterness, and eventually destruction. That's why your intuition matters. Gut instinct isn't magic, it's recognition.par. When you feel that she's the one, it's often because, on a subconscious level, you've noticed that her behavior, beliefs, and priorities align with yours. Your mind is connecting dots you might not consciously see. That feeling of ease, of natural harmony, is your subconscious telling you the values line up. But ignore this at your own risk. If you sense a deep conflict and silence it because she's beautiful, charming, or fun, you're trading long-term stability for short-term pleasure. And when the pleasure fades, the conflict will surface, louder and sharper than ever. A wife is not just someone you desire, she's someone you can build a life with. Without shared values, marriage is not a partnership, it's a battlefield. And on a battlefield, love isn't enough to keep you alive. Sign number 10. True compatibility and intimacy. Physical closeness may not be the foundation of marriage, but it is the glue that holds two people together through the years. When two partners connect in this area, it creates a bond that is more than physical. It's emotional, psychological, and spiritual. Intimacy becomes the unspoken language of trust, desire, and unity. Without it, the relationship weakens, even if everything else seems perfect on paper. Psychologically, unmet needs in closeness create frustration, distance, and eventually disconnection. Many men underestimate this, assuming attraction alone will sustain the relationship. But intimacy isn't just about attraction. It's about compatibility. Understanding each other's needs, communicating desires, and respecting boundaries. When both partners align, the bond strengthens and becomes a source of renewal. The danger comes when compatibility is ignored. If one partner feels starved of closeness while the other dismisses it, resentment grows. Silence turns into avoidance. Avoidance turns into disinterest. And disinterest eventually kills the relationship. Many marriages collapse not because of money or arguments, but because intimacy was neglected or treated as secondary. A woman who is truly wifey material doesn't make closeness a weapon, and she doesn't use it to manipulate. She values it as a shared expression of love and respect. If you can communicate openly with her about attraction, needs, and boundaries, and feel both safe and fulfilled, you have the foundation for lasting connection. If not, you're building on cracks that will one day split wide open. Your move. So ask yourself, does the woman you're with embody these signs, or are you lying to yourself because you're afraid to start over? Better to face the truth now than to pay for denial later. If this message woke something inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Leave a comment, share it with a man who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Female Code Unlocked, because here, we don't play games with love. We expose the truth so men can take back control of their lives.